Many people on YouTube are showing this image from Google Sky and saying that this is the red dragon mentioned in Revelation 12, and that it will have a physical and literal fulfillment on the 23rd of September 2017, when there will be an alignment of stars and planets that coincide with certain parts of the text. They are saying that this image is of Nibiru, a wandering planet or a brown dwarf star that will hit Earth on the 23rd of September 2017, and that this is the red dragon which is mentioned in Revelation 12. In this video, I'm going to explain what this celestial object is, and I assure you, it's not Nibiru. And I'm also going to explain why it won't matter much once people find out what it is. This is the hair-raising image that many videos on YouTube are showing, together with scary music such as this, while they speculate that the image is of Nibiru or some other celestial object that will soon collide with planet Earth. Even many Christians that are promoting the alignment of stars and planets on the 23rd of September 2017 as the literal fulfillment of Revelation 12 are saying that this image represents the seven-headed, 10-horned red dragon that is ready to devour the child, supposedly Jupiter, that the woman, supposedly Virgo, will give birth to. Before explaining what this mysterious object in Google Sky is, let's see if this image matches the text in Revelation 12. The text says that the dragon that is waiting to devour the child of the woman has 7 heads. Now this image clearly cannot be the literal fulfillment of this prophecy, because there's nothing in the image that could possibly be construed as 7 heads. Neither do we see 10 horns or crowns on its head. Now the text also says that the dragon stood in front of the woman in order to devour her child as soon as it was born. Now let's remember that the proponents of the September 23rd sign are saying that the birth which Revelation 12 is referring to is when Jupiter crosses that imaginary line in the constellation of Virgo. Using Stellarium, we can see that this event clearly happens on the 10th of September. Therefore, the red dragon of Revelation should already be present there, waiting to devour Jupiter. But when we look up in the sky at night, or even on Google Sky with its normal settings, we don't see anything there ready to devour Jupiter. However, when you switch to the infrared view, you get this image. And those who are looking for a red dragon think, aha, there it is, the red dragon. And those that are looking for Nibiru think, aha, there it is, it's Nibiru. But before we get too excited about this, before we start making and sharing hundreds of videos on YouTube speculating and generating fear and panic, we need to investigate properly what this object might be. If all we want to do is promote a particular theory or try to force the pieces together so that they fit our particular interpretation of prophecy, then not only are we going to be easily deceived into presuming that something is a confirmation of what we're already looking for, but even when the evidence shows us to be wrong, we're going to try to manipulate the information in such a way that we can continue promoting our pet theories and interpretations. Please keep this point in mind as we discuss this object that appears in Google Sky. It is being said that this image has to be of a moving object. The reason is because it appears in the infrared view, but it does not appear in the other images that were probably taken at a different time. Another reason is because this image doesn't appear when you look at the same location in other programs that take photos of the skies. Up to that point, that sounds fairly reasonable. The object has to be or something that moves, or something that is only visible in infrared, or something that has been erased from all the other image programs that publish photos of the sky. Now, promoters of the Nibiru and Red Dragon of Revelation conspiracy theory believe that Google tried to block the appearance of this object, which is their explanation for why there is a black rectangle covering that part of the image in Google Sky. But that reasoning doesn't seem logical. First, if they really wanted to hide something, why would they put an obvious black rectangle on the spot where they don't want people to look? Such a tactic would only serve to generate more intense scrutiny on the area where they are supposedly trying to hide something. It would be a lot more effective to simply erase the object and color the background in such a way that you could no longer see it. Second, Why would they hide only a portion of the image and not the entire image? Again, this only serves to draw more attention to the object that they are supposedly trying to hide. And third, why would they hide the image in one of the view functions of the program, but still allow for the image to be seen via the other functions on the program? Many people read that the images that were uploaded to Google Sky were created on the 15th of June 2014, and they presume that this was the date that the photos were taken. So they go in search of some object that can be seen in Stellarium on that date and in that location. And when they don't find anything there, they conclude that the object must be something outside of our solar system that Stellarium could not have predicted. But we all know that the date that you create a file on a computer or the date that you upload a photo onto the internet isn't necessarily the date in which that photo was taken. And that's what's happened here. Due to a strong desire to force the different pieces of prophecy together to make a particular theory or interpretation work, people have left out the need for objective investigation and instead have arrived at mistaken conclusions based solely on speculation. In the Google Sky program, you can read that the infrared images were taken by the Infrared Astronomical Satellite, IRAS. And if you look that up on the internet, you will find the official NASA page that documents that this satellite was functioning only from late January 1983 till November of the same year, 1983. Yes, this infrared image that is making thousands of people on YouTube lose sleep and go nuts is a photo that was taken over 30 years ago. It is impossible for the photo to be of Nibiru drawing near to devour Jupiter at the feet of Virgo at this point in time, because we would have been seeing it there for the last 30 years. So calm down. It's not a photo from 2017, not even from 2014. It's from 1983. But the question remains, what is it then? When we use the Stellarium program to look at the time frame between late January and November 1983, we can clearly see that the planet Saturn is positioned precisely where this bright object appears. That is the object, the planet Saturn. Given that the planet moves and given that the final image that appears in Google Sky is a composite of several photos taken at different times, parts of Saturn and the digital imprint of its light are visible twice in the same photo. That is why it looks like there are two different objects in the photo when in reality it is only one, Saturn. The evidence is clear. The object appears on the ecliptic, a place where many of the planets in our solar system make their orbit, so it is highly likely to be a planet in our solar system. Now the photos were taken between late January and November 1983, the exact time when Saturn was present in that exact place. The rational and logical conclusion? The object is Saturn, not Nibiru and not a seven-headed dragon with 10 horns and 10 crowns. Case closed, right? Probably not. Why? Because conspiracy theories and predictions about the date of the rapture, the end of the world, etc. are not based on evidence. They're not even based on clear verses from the Bible, but they're rather based on a strong desire to make whatever supposed evidence is available to fit a particular theory or interpretation. So when they're presented with new information, like this new information that the object from Google Sky is not Nibiru, it's not Planet X, it's not a red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns and 10 crowns, but rather it is the planet Saturn, then they will most likely just use that information to invent another conspiracy theory and another interpretation of Bible prophecy. They can say that, yes, it is Saturn, but since Saturn represents Satan, it is still the red dragon of Revelation 12, since in Revelation 12 the red dragon is clearly Satan. They can say that any webpage with information published by NASA must be a lie, and that they are still hiding the truth that a planet is going to hit the Earth, even if it can't be seen at the moment, and even if it's not having any direct effect on our planet or the solar system. If NASA says that the planet is Saturn, they are lying, because it's really Nibiru. They can say that the satellite that took the photos in infrared is called iras, which in Latin means anger or wrath, and so this makes reference to the wrath of God, and that the satellite was named by Satanists, who chose that name to warn their followers that the wrath of God was about to come, or that God himself inspired them to give it that name so that it would serve as a sign for us Christians. They can say that God, in his wisdom and omniscience, knew ahead of time that we were going to have computers, and so he gave us a sign that could only be seen using computer programs such as Stellarium, and that he also knew that an infrared photo in Google Sky taken in 1983 would, in 2017, appear to be the red dragon, to make it clear to us that the day of his wrath was drawing near and that it was going to happen on the 23rd of September 2017. It doesn't matter how much evidence you present to these people. They're going to find a way of using that information to keep promoting their theories and interpretations. Now, there are people who have seriously criticized us because of our other recent videos on the 23rd of September, and who are totally convinced that the rapture is going to happen on the 23rd or the 24th of September, and that we are going to be left behind for not believing in this supposed sign of revelation that requires the use of computers and astrology. We wonder if these people will admit their error when October comes and they discover that they haven't been raptured yet. Will they apologize and seek to gain a better, more rational understanding of Bible prophecy and the scriptures? Or will they keep looking for a way to adjust the facts and the dates to justify their beliefs? We'll see in October. But now I want to share with you some of the things that Jesus clearly did say about the end times. First of all, I want to clarify that even though many of us are not convinced that this sign on the 23rd of September is a fulfillment of Revelation 12, it doesn't mean that anyone who believes in the sign is totally deceived or a false prophet. Jesus did say that there will be signs in the heavens during the end times. This could mean something like the alignment of stars and planets that will happen on the 23rd of September. It could also include things like the solar eclipse in the United States, or certain meteorites falling from the sky, or some other sign. But Jesus didn't say that these signs in the sky would mark a specific event on a specific day. They are simply signs that we are in the end times. But it's possible that some sincere Christians believe that the 23rd of September is the sign and that Jesus is going to return pretty soon. Believing that Jesus could return at any time can be good for our spirit. It means that right now we should be questioning ourselves, what we are doing, what we believe, and come before God with a humble, repentant heart, seeking to live in harmony with His will. But please remember that the biggest warning that Jesus gave us regarding the end times was that there would be many false prophets and false anointed ones that would deceive many people by showing great signs and wonders. Jesus gave us clear signs about the end times that anyone can observe, not doubtful signs and speculations. For example, many are pointing to a possible war between the United States and North Korea as a sign that the end is near, when in reality it proves just the opposite. Jesus said, "And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you're not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." Now perhaps the wars and rumors of wars could lead to something catastrophic like the destruction of the United States or a third world war, but Jesus is clear in that wars and rumors of wars indicate that it is not yet the end. Did you hear that? It is not the end. So if someone tells you that the end of the world is about to happen because there are wars and rumors of wars, they are contradicting Jesus. Similarly, Jesus never said, and you won't find it anywhere in the Bible, that when we see the sign of Revelation 12 being fulfilled in the stars and planets, that it means that on that day the rapture will happen or that Jesus will come back. As far as His return, Jesus clearly said that He will return immediately after the Great Tribulation, and that the sun will become darkened, that the moon will not give its light, and that the stars will fall to earth after the Great Tribulation. So until the Great Tribulation has started, Jesus would not have returned. For this reason, He repeats several times that if they tell us that Christ has come back, that He's in the desert, or that He's over here or out there, that we shouldn't believe it and shouldn't follow such people, because His return shall be visible to everyone, just as lightning in the sky lights up the whole sky. Now, as far as the Great Tribulation goes, the sign that Jesus mentioned wasn't a constellation of stars and planets, but he said that it would start when you see the abomination of desolation of which the prophet Daniel spoke. And the scripture adds, "He that reads, let him understand." So read the book of Daniel, particularly chapters 7 to 12, so you can discover the events that need to take place before the abomination of desolation, before the Great Tribulation, before Jesus comes back. There's no doubt that we live in significant times. Our concern is that these false signs only serve negative ends. These false signs and false prophets do not lead people to greater faith in Jesus. They ultimately lead people to lose faith in Jesus and to lose faith in Bible prophecy. People will become desensitized to the real signs that Jesus spoke about. Because after so many false alarms, people will say that all talk about Jesus coming back is a lie. What is most going to help us in these significant times is focusing on the clear words of Jesus and making our lives conform to His teachings. It is the only way that we can avoid being deceived by the many false prophets that are running loose in the world and on the internet. Even if we're mistaken on some of the details, if we are sincerely seeking to live in harmony with the teachings of Jesus, we will be building a faith that nothing and nobody can destroy. Time is short. Let's make the most of it.